The cul-de-sac at Maplewood Lane was the epitome of suburban tranquility. Michele Williams, with her warm smile and friendly demeanor, fit perfectly in this picture. She was the quintessential soccer mom, always baking for school events, her life seemingly an open book. But well, appearances can be deceptive. Behind the facade of normalcy lurked a dark secret, one that would shatter the peace of Maplewood Lane forever. It all began with a frantic 911 call. Michele, her voice trembling with feigned terror, reported a home invasion. Her husband, she claimed, was missing. As the investigation unfolded, a different picture began to emerge, one that painted Michele not as a victim, but as the mastermind behind a chilling plot. Michele's life was a tangled web of lies, carefully spun over years. She presented an image of success, but behind the designer handbags and luxury vacations lurked a mountain of debt. Her husband, far from being the successful businessman Michele portrayed, was struggling financially. This financial instability, investigators would later discover, was the motive behind Michele's elaborate scheme. Detective Harrison started piecing together Michele's past, talking to old neighbors, acquaintances, and even ex-boyfriends. Michele had a history of deception, often using charm and manipulation to get what she wanted. She would fabricate stories, exaggerate her circumstances, all the while playing the victim to gain sympathy and support. Interviews with Michele's friends and family revealed a common thread, a history of financial dependence and a constant need for money. This pattern of behavior, Detective Harrison realized, was not simply a character flaw, but a deeply ingrained modus operandi. As the investigation progressed, inconsistencies in Michele's story began to surface. Her initial account of the home invasion didn't add up. Valuables were left untouched, the point of entry seemingly staged. Furthermore, her demeanor, though seemingly distressed, lacked genuine anguish. Her tears, Detective Harrison observed, seemed forced. Her grief performative rather than genuine. The police uncovered inconsistencies in Michele's timeline on the night of her husband's disappearance. Witnesses placed her at a local bar, miles away from her home, at the time of the alleged home invasion. Security camera footage confirmed these sightings, shattering Michele's alibi. When confronted with this evidence, Michele's composure faltered. The more Michele tried to explain, the deeper she entangled herself in her web of lies. The charming facade she had so carefully cultivated began to crumble, revealing the cold, calculating mind beneath. The investigation took a dramatic turn when Detective Harrison uncovered a trail of financial transactions leading back to Michele. Michele had, in the weeks leading up to her husband's disappearance, taken out a substantial life insurance policy on him, naming herself as the sole beneficiary. Furthermore, she had made several large cash withdrawals, her spending habits in stark contrast to her claims of financial hardship. The money trail was damning, pointing directly to Michele as the prime suspect in her husband's disappearance. The seemingly random home invasion now appeared to be a carefully orchestrated act, designed to mislead the police. The financial motive, coupled with the inconsistencies in her story, painted a grim picture. The police, armed with a search warrant, descended upon the Williams residence. They found traces of blood, cleverly concealed but not entirely erased, in the trunk of Michele's car. Forensic analysis confirmed the blood belonged to her husband. The arrest of Michele Williams sent ripples of shock and disbelief through the quiet community of Maplewood Lane. The friendly soccer mom, the woman who baked cookies for school events, was now accused of murder. The case became a media sensation, with reporters flocking to the small town, eager to uncover the truth behind the seemingly perfect life gone terribly wrong. The trial was a spectacle, covered extensively by local and national media. The prosecution presented a compelling case, laying bare Michele's web of deceit. They presented a mountain of evidence, financial records detailing her mounting debts, the damning life insurance policy, witness testimonies contradicting her alibi, and the forensic evidence linking her to the crime scene. Michele, throughout the trial, maintained her innocence, but her once charming demeanor failed to sway the jury. The defense argued that the prosecution's case was circumstantial, that their client was a victim of her circumstances, not a cold-blooded killer. They painted a picture of a woman trapped in a loveless marriage, driven to desperation by her husband's financial recklessness. Despite the defense's efforts, the evidence against Michele was overwhelming. The jury, after days of deliberation, returned with a guilty verdict. Michele, her composure finally cracking, collapsed upon hearing the verdict, her carefully constructed facade crumbling around her. The judge, in delivering the sentence, called Michele's actions cold, calculated, and devoid of remorse. He sentenced her to life in prison without the possibility of parole, ensuring that she would spend the rest of her days paying for her crimes. The sentence brought a sense of closure to the community, but the scars of Michele's betrayal ran deep. Maplewood Lane, once a symbol of suburban tranquility, now served as a stark reminder that darkness can lurk beneath the most idyllic facades. The Michele Williams case became a cautionary tale, a stark reminder that appearances can be deceiving. It forced the community to confront the uncomfortable reality that someone they knew, someone they had welcomed into their homes, was capable of such a heinous act. The case of Michele Williams, though shocking in its details, is not an isolated incident. It shines a light on the darker side of human nature, the capacity for manipulation and deceit that exists within us all. Michele, driven by greed and a sense of entitlement, constructed a web of lies, manipulating those around her to achieve her goals. Her actions were not a sudden aberration, but a culmination of years of manipulative behavior. Experts who studied Michele's case pointed to several classic traits of manipulative personalities. She possessed a superficial charm that disarmed those around her, making it easier for them to believe her lies. She was a master manipulator, skilled at playing the victim, eliciting sympathy, and deflecting blame. Michele's story serves as a stark reminder that manipulation often hides in plain sight. The most skilled manipulators are often those who appear charming, trustworthy, and even vulnerable. What drove Michele Williams to such extremes? Experts who studied her case believe it was a complex interplay of factors. Michele's history of financial instability, coupled with her need for control and a distorted sense of entitlement, created a perfect storm that culminated in tragedy. Her actions, though ultimately her own, were shaped by a lifetime of experiences. A reminder that even the most horrific acts are rarely born in a vacuum. Michele's case also highlights the psychological toll of deceit. Living a lie, maintaining a facade of normalcy while harboring such dark secrets, takes a toll on the human psyche. The constant pressure to maintain the charade, the fear of being exposed, can lead to a warped sense of reality, distorting one's moral compass. Michele's story is a tragedy on many levels. It's a tragedy for her victim, her community, and for Michele herself, who, driven by her own demons, destroyed her life and the lives of those around her. The case of Michele Williams serves as a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of deceit. Lies, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, have a ripple effect, eroding trust, destroying relationships, and leaving lasting scars. In Michele's case, her web of lies led to the ultimate betrayal, the taking of a life and the shattering of her own. The impact of Michele's crimes extended far beyond the courtroom walls. Her case had a profound impact on the small community of Maplewood Lane, shattering their sense of security. In the aftermath of the trial, the community of Maplewood Lane came together to heal. The case, though tragic, served as a catalyst for positive change, prompting the community to confront difficult conversations, strengthen their support networks, and become more discerning in their relationships. The case of Michele Williams, though sensationalized by the media, holds valuable lessons for us all. It teaches us to be wary of superficial charm, to question inconsistencies, and to trust our instincts when something doesn't feel right. It also underscores the importance of open communication, of creating an environment where vulnerabilities can be shared and addressed, rather than masked by deceit. Michele's story is a stark reminder that deceit is not always a deliberate act of malice. Often it stems from a place of insecurity, fear, or a desperate need to control one's circumstances. By understanding the root causes of deceitful behavior, we can better equip ourselves to identify it, address it, and hopefully prevent tragedies like the one that befell Michele Williams and those around her. The Michele Williams case, though tragic, serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of truth, accountability, and the enduring strength of the human spirit.